What inspired you to, go into wedding planning?
My journey to wedding planning was not a linear one. Like I didn't, always wake up and be like, you know what, I dream to be like a wedding planner. It was something I discovered about myself.
So, what as an event planner, what are like the common misconceptions?
And sometimes some of the things that I see is how wedding costings are. Cost of a wedding is the service, the type of service, the quality of the service that you're getting. No wedding is the same. And then cost is not just determined by number of guests.
That's because that the whole time the photographer was just sitting down and sleeping, and I was like, the guy was sleeping half the time, and I'm like,
Like
what?
no one was watching. He was just, how can you come to an event
You know,
and
some
sleep?
people that they see themselves, me, I'm a professional photographer. You can't talk like I'm a big, guy in the photography industry, and I'm like, so
Sleeping, that's
how do
just
you
out
how
of
do you
that's
how do
just
you
out of character. I'm sorry, like how do you
like
as a
Hey guys, welcome back to More Than Headlines. I'm your host Kate. So today with me I have Eddie, but okay, Eddie, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Okay, that's a smart one actually, because I think that I'll be in the best position to actually tell you who I am. My name is Ejijiong Owa. I am the founder of Uja Events Agency. I have been planning weddings for about 5 years plus, and I'm excited to come to More Than Headlines and talk wedding with you guys.
Oh, thank you so much for coming. So guys, today we're going to talk about Nigerian weddings, expectations versus reality. We know that a lot of people now, in fact, aside the fact that people feel that the wedding should be the marriage, that's a different conversation for another day. A lot of people going with crazy expectations, and when these expectations are not met, they tend to blame the wedding planners or the event planners. So today, Eddie, let's start from what inspired you to, go into wedding planning. What inspired you?
My journey to wedding planning was not a linear one. Like I didn't, always wake up and be like, you know what, I dream to be like a wedding planner. It was something I discovered about myself. Growing up, I have been in the wedding sphere. I was almost like something you would call a professional little bride because for every
Oh,
auntie, every uncle getting married in the church, because I was a lively child, so they would want me to be in their flower girl, bridesmaid, like all of that. So if you look at
oh,
like growing up pictures of me, I have a lot of those. So that
yeah.
exposed me to like the wedding sphere. And afterwards, I just had a friend. My first job as a wedding planner was volunteer, actually. A
Okay.
friend of mine was coming into the city and she needed somebody to help her run around. And I was like, you know what, I could do this. And just working with her on that made me find that, I have a love and a passion for this. I was just generally good at networking, bringing people together for a
Okay.
project and like following up to the end of the project. So my project management skills just played out and it made it something that came to me easily to do.
Okay. So, how has the journey been so far?
It has been interesting. I tell
Okay.
planners all the time that as a wedding planner, you're only as experienced as the wedding this you as the weddings you've done,
Okay.
right? So each wedding, there's always something to learn. Each wedding, there's always an improvement because you're working with people who have different families, different modes of communication, different lifestyles. So
True.
you're understanding them as the job goes. So my journey has been great. Every wedding, I'm better than the last wedding. So
Okay.
yeah. So it's a learning curve.
All right. When it comes to weddings, a lot of people already have like this thing in their head. They already have a way that they want their weddings to go. So what as an event planner, what are like the common misconceptions that like, couples, like one of the things you now need to explain to them that, oh, this is not how this goes, this is not how this goes. So what are like the common misconceptions that
They are a few sometimes, and sometimes some of the things that I see is how wedding costings are. Some of
Okay.
those are like one of the major misconceptions.
Okay.
A lot of the times, or few times, people would think that having a smaller wedding or a smaller number of people would mean the rates of the wedding is less. But
I would think so too.
yeah, but then what actually inflates the cost of a wedding is the service, the type of service, the quality of the service that you're getting. So you
Okay.
can get like a wedding with small guest number, but the quality of the service in terms of photographer, in terms of videographer, in terms of your outfit would probably be more than a person who's having like over 200 people or 500 as their wedding. So I think that for another misconception that people have is that they think that weddings are the same. No wedding is the same. No couple is the same. Just like we're
Okay.
all different
Yeah.
individual. Like a
Yeah.
couple, they have their own different love story, their own different experiences. So
Mm.
it's not the same. So you can't say I want to replicate A
Yeah.
on B. It's not
Yeah.
it's
and,
not
and different
possible.
expectations.
Yes, different expectations, different, timelines and stuff like that. So no wedding is the same. And then cost is not just determined by number of guests.
This brings me to there's this popular. Okay, she's an influencer. She's a
We're
Nigerian
talking
that
about someone,
lives.
okay.
No. This is just what I saw on the social
Okay. Okay.
media. So first, what happened was that she got this event planner. So apparently she's like a good event planner in Lagos, and probably planned her sister's wedding, and her sister was got married to a celebrity at the time. So imagine, then her coming, because she's also perceived to be a celebrity because she's an influencer. And then the lady is like, okay, give me the cost. And according to the lady, she inflated, the prices, and
Yeah.
it got crazy. So people are like, oh, most of this, like people, I don't know, tend to
Like this
not trust
because of profiling?
I don't know, maybe because now as an event planner, that means the couple pay you to pay do they pay the vendors
I think
personally,
that
or they
works.
pay you to pay?
That works definitely for different agencies. They have their different modes of,
Okay.
working as planners. Some people agree, to pay the vendors directly. Some
Okay.
people pay the planning agency to pay the vendors.
Okay, so which one is your
Okay, for
your
me,
preferred?
I think vendors a lot of the time respond to where the money is coming from.
Okay.
Exactly. So that is why I would prefer to be the one giving the balances. But I run a very open structure in the sense that there are contracts for each of my vendors.
Okay.
And then my clients are aware, okay, this is how much we're paying, this is the services we're getting. And then I like to use a lot of software when I'm working with my clients to just make this an open process. So
Okay.
they have links shared. So they are following up the negotiation process. They are following up the contract process. They are following up the payments and receipts process. This is like really open for everyone to work with because in my experience of working with vendors,
Okay.
you cannot really, except that they're super exposed and they understand, the goals of the event, and then understand that we're all, there for a common goal per se.
Okay.
But like there are some vendors who would say the mother-in-law is the person paying the caterer, and you go to the caterer to give the caterer instructions of what to do, and they don't want to listen to you as the planner because you are not
you're
in
not the
contracts
one that
with
paid.
them and you're not paying them. So
Okay.
that's literally some of the constraints you have. So if you as the planner are the one doing maybe second deposits or initial deposits, however you want to run your agency, it just helps for you to have a level of authority when you're speaking to
I actually
planners.
didn't see that part. Okay, for example, now you are the planner. You get the vendors for the people that like say the couple, and the vendor doesn't listen to you.
No,
don't
I
get it.
mean the vendor will listen to you,
Okay.
right? Do you understand? It just makes it fair or
I
an
understand,
open
yeah.
conversation when there's a
Yeah.
contract involved. I
Okay.
don't run a planning agency where we're just agreeing based on words. I need to have this thing written down in a contract so we can properly refer to the services that we agreed to be given to each
Yeah.
other. But some of the times people either use family as their vendor, or people suggest people that they know as a vendor, and then they do the payment. So it's as a
Yeah.
planner, when you come in, unless you were in communication with them from the beginning, is a lot of stress to get them on the day of the wedding to follow a structure. So if you are, the one handling payments at the end of the day, you can be able to hold someone responsible to something like, these are the services we listed out. You didn't bring A, so you will not be paid because you didn't bring A. This is like, you can follow up on this thing.
Yeah.
They would actually respect your authority easier, right? If you're handling payments.
So you're saying that vendors the planners should be.
I'm not saying they should. I did start this by saying people have different ways of working. I did start it by saying people have different ways.
From what I understand, it's best the planner is involved from the beginning.
Yeah, from my experience. Because again, when it comes to the wedding industry and the wedding sphere or event sphere, a lot of the things that you learn is from your experience as a planner. It's from your experience. So people have, policies based off of their experience working with vendors and, the people that they interact with. So from my experience, I just think that it's best to handle second deposits.
I agree. Not just first or second, like for me, everything, because at the end of the day, when it comes to a wedding, most times the groom and the bride would be very busy.
Yes, very busy.
So when it comes to, I feel like that's why there's an event planner. The person should handle everything, because in the process of you trying to do that back and forth between you, the couple, and
honestly,
things might just fall through.
Per my policy, before I even engage with any vendor, say a vendor the charge for the vendor is like 50,000 for something. If I'm going to engage with that vendor, I have the entire 50,000.
Okay.
I give the vendor the first deposit for the 50,000, but then we have a laid down contract of the services that vendor is going to give. And I tell that vendor, hey, all you have to do is maintain the standard you had when I hired you. And then there's no problem.
Okay.
You come on time. There's a time of arrival. There's a payment policy. Some people want to do a 3 payment policy. Some people want to do a 2 payment policy. However it works for the client. But I am with your money, so money is not the problem.
So never a one-time payment policy.
No. It's never like a one-time. It can't be, because some of the services for events are services that have not yet been given. Say a makeup artist.
Yeah.
If I give a makeup artist half the money, that's a booking deposit. Okay. That makeup artist has just circled on her calendar, I'm coming on the 5th. Yeah. Right? For a wedding. She hasn't given the bride any makeup touch. She hasn't done anything for the bride yet. So I cannot give her 100% of like money for a service that I haven't seen. It's just a booking deposit.
No, I'm thinking of like looking at it from the other way around. I've seen people who actually pay people after the service has been rendered. So, for example, you ask somebody, like the makeup artist thing. I've seen situations on social media where people come out to scream and all that stuff. So it's like, okay, come do the makeup. Then after the event, I'll pay you.
No, it doesn't. I mean, I feel like that's very tricky, especially if you're not working with like an honest event planner or like, because like for me, my job as an event planner is to be a mediator for my clients and for the vendors, right? So I'm not just here as a defendant for my clients, even though that's my priority. My clients are my priority, but I work with vendors a lot, right? I need them to actually give quality service to the people that hired me. So there is a level of relationship that I need to develop with vendors as much as I have a solid relationship with my clients, right? So if I tell a vendor, okay, I'm hiring you for this particular service, this is my contract, this is the service you have to give to my people. I wanted this standard, right? I want them to feel good. I want them to feel important. It's a one day in a lifetime thing. So I tell people, weddings are the most emotional events ever that you can plan.
Really?
It's very emotional, honestly. The mother-in-law is emotional. The groom, like the bride is emotional. Everyone, the entire family is emotional. So, and some of these emotions is not a bad thing, right?
Of
Because
course,
it's a
yeah.
once in a lifetime event. They will be emotional. They want it to go a particular way. They want it to have a particular
They
style.
want it to be perfect.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
You cannot fault them for that, because
Yeah.
you would want the same thing for your own special day. So as you're coming, it's an event that I tell my vendors, put your heart and your soul into it. Don't just work because, oh, I'm here for a service. They asked me to come here and drop a pin. So I take the pin and I drop it here and that's the end of my work. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
If you put in some soul into and character into the way that you're serving someone, that's why someone will say, you know what, this person took my pictures for my wedding. I want them to take, for another person. In this industry, right? The service that you give someone is not like especially as a wedding planner, it's not like a product, right?
Yeah.
It's not like something that you can see and touch and feel, right? It's a service. So what you can touch is the way that your client feels after you have served them. That's the thing that's important. So just to go back to contracts and payments, like payments.
Yeah.
Whenever I give out a contract to a client and a vendor, it's for common ground. It's for proper references, right? Not just for the vendors, and like for me as well as a wedding planner, I want to have proper records of like a service that I'm giving and like and the service that I'm collecting from a certain person, just so we can make references and be like, okay, what did we ask for? What's this? Instead of having to go through WhatsApp group chats and looking for all those things,
all the things
is in one page.
Of
Do you
course, some people
understand?
will be like, no, we didn't discuss that.
Exactly. We didn't say this. No, I didn't add this. If we have a contract that states out everything, it's easy. We pull it up, right? And say, okay, this is what we asked for. This is the payment plan, right? And for makeup artists, I feel like you need to pay a makeup artist on the day of. Like, after the makeup is done, give the makeup artist her money.
Not hold on.
Hold on. Tomorrow, I'm going to give you, like, why? The service is on your face. The service is on your face. I actually don't agree.
That's true.
Like, the service is on your face. Why would you tell a makeup artist to come back later or the next day? Like, I've drawn your face. You look pretty. You look in the mirror.
Like your makeup.
You like the way you look. As long as that is established, I need my money.
I have
unless of course this makeup artist is supposed to stick around for touch-ups, and then because some people want to do touch-ups after the thing, but then I think that that's also a level of communication the planner and the wedding and the wedding makeup artist should have a conversation about. But on that day, the makeup artist deserves her money in full.
So I remember a conversation I had with a friend a couple of years back. So she got married, and in fact, what happened was that I had booked this photographer for something. And when she came for it was supposed to be a photo shoot. So when she came with her baby. And she was telling me that during her wedding, that in fact, till this day, she hasn't gotten her wedding
pictures
album. Her pictures. That's because that the whole time, the photographer was just sitting down and sleeping. And I was like, the guy was sleeping half the time. And I'm like,
what? No one was watching. He just, how can you come to an event and
some
sleep?
people, they see themselves, me, I'm a professional photographer. You can't talk, like, I'm a big, guy in the photography industry. And I'm like,
sleeping?
So
that's just out of character. I'm sorry. Like, how do you, as a videographer, be sleeping? I don't think you came for the job.
So he couldn't get most of the, shots that
he came alone. And was sleeping.
I don't know. Even if he, I can't really
bizarre.
Remember. Was sleeping and couldn't get most of the good shots that they wanted. And till that, I don't even know if he ever even gave them their wedding album. So in that situation, what would you do as a planner?
First of all, I will not have a photographer or videographer come to my wedding and be sleeping. Like, literally, I don't think it's possible for you to fall asleep on the job because of how fast-paced the event is going to be moving. Like, there's not time for you to chill. And we have coordinators supervising these people.
Okay.
Right? Even as, we're running around, there are specific people who are like, someone would notice that the photographer is dozing off, especially if he came alone. So there are checks for that. Also, I usually do post-planning. And again, brings us back to contracts. I'm very particular about, because after the wedding, the only thing that remains is videos, pictures, albums. Those are the only thing that's left of the wedding. After the party, that is the memory, that you keep.
Which is very important.
Very important. Like, you can't have an event and not have evidence. You go explain tire. There will be no evidence of this that you were explaining and
Yeah.
saying. So I usually incorporate post planning to my service, and part of that post planning is following up on photography and videography deliverables, right? Which is why it has to be stated on the contract. What are you giving? How many photo books? How many pictures? How long
How
would it
many
take to do
days,
the
yeah,
edits?
after the
After
event are
the event,
you
should they be
delivering?
expecting? Is it 1 week? Is it 2 weeks? Are we like, let us have a mind frame of what to expect. Like, let's know what we're expecting. And then I set up a team who follow this photographer. 1 week after, hey, is it ready? 1 week after, here's this ready. And then the photographers don't get their balance until we receive the deliverables.
No, so in this situation, so for example, now you've already gotten half of the money and you didn't deliver. You know he's not going to bother, like, after he didn't deliver, like, he got part payment. So in that situation, as a planner, how do you deal with that?
A situation
Does he
where
have to now okay, that's where your contract comes in?
that's what my cousin says. Some of these people don't realize, like, people take events really lightly, and it's because it's usually difficult to take them up. I mean, now the Nigerian system, legal system, is doing better, but like, people will actually go to prison. You will actually be arrested. You would actually spend, because literally you were hired for a service,
Yeah.
you didn't deliver, and you were deposited for the services. The first photographer that slips in prison for lack of, doing a job that he was hired to do, I'm sure it would serve as a big lesson to people in the industry. Like, you will not mess up like that.
Yeah. So have you had any situation where one of your vendors didn't deliver?
Well, I mean, some of these things can be stopped by acts of God. Honestly, acts
Yeah.
of God. You need to consider that during events, situations that are beyond people's control.
Okay.
Right? Those are things that you should consider when you're planning an event. Say, for instance, a decorator comes to decorate, and there's a thunderstorm.
Okay.
It was an outdoor and I know that as a planner, you have to look at the weather forecast and plan for things like that. Even apart from thunderstorms coming, there are situations that are beyond control and then would cause someone to not deliver a job. And for me, it's easier to, this is also where I learned to develop a contract. I have had a vendor who defaulted on deliverables.
Okay.
I think that was a moment for me to learn to use the contract and enforce it, because it was very difficult going back and forth on what the agreement was, talking about it, and then, trying to resolve the issue. It was, however, resolved in a situation where my clients were happy, and then, the vendor understood what the situation was. But ever since then, it made me just really enforce having a contract, having a laid down, written down stuff on, this is what we're expecting, this is what should happen, this is what we're paying for, just so we know how to move forward. Should we not get any of those services? Should we not get any of those services? We know how to move forward.
Okay, let's go back to what you were saying before. So that means contracts are very important.
Yes, they're very important.
And also from what you've said so far,
planning. Mm-hmm.
an event planner is also very important, because most times, like I said, in the situation of my friend, I'm sure she didn't have an event planner. She probably had that, I know you're a great photographer, I want you to take pictures for my wedding.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, probably the guy even went there and said, this kind of wedding, I'm too big now.
Do you understand? And see, and I
should be sleeping.
I tell people in my academy all the time that an event planner is a mediator, a best friend, a coach, you're an accountant, you're a project manager, you're wearing many hats as you're planning an event. And one of the most important hats that you're wearing is the ability to give everyone a big picture, right? To say, okay, this is what we're here to do. This is the common goal. This is why we're here for these people. Bringing vendors from different experiences and different, spheres of life together for a common goal is one of the biggest things as an event planner.
So something just came to my mind. So, okay, this is the scenario that's in my mind. So, for example, now as an event planner, baby, I'm getting married. I come to you and say, I want you to plan my wedding. We have a budget. Then you plan the wedding, because I understand that your fee as an event planner is different from, everything. Then after the wedding, and I'm like, I don't think I have this money to pay you. Like, have you had a situation like that? I know it's
First of all,
strange.
no, I have never had a situation like that.
Okay.
And one of the things I do before I hire my clients is do a consultation, right?
Okay.
I speak to the clients, I talk to them, I do research on like who they are, because that also helps me.
Are you serious?
Of course, you cannot just. I'm not an every Saturday wedding planner. I am a wedding planner out of passion. I
Okay.
love the work that I do.
Okay.
I'm very passionate about it. I put my heart and soul to the events that I plan. And as much as people are looking for the perfect event planner or the best event planner, I am looking for the best client.
True.
I am looking for a client that aligns with my values. I am looking for a client because whenever you hire somebody as an event planner, it doesn't just end at the event for me. These are people that I constantly talk to. They become my friends. They become a part of the family. Because say we're planning a wedding for 6 months, you're going to be talking to me
For 6
for
months.
6 months.
That's true.
We're going to be interfacing with each other.
Yeah.
Imagine if we don't have the same values. Imagine if we don't understand communication. That's going to be very tough. That's going to be very tough. There's going to be miscommunication. It's going to make the work twice as stressful. So to answer your question, I'm never going to have such clients. From the consultation,
Yeah.
we already talk about this. And as much as I have agreements with vendors, I have agreements with my clients as well.
Okay.
That binds them to the services I'm giving.
So that means you also have a contract with your clients.
Of course.
Okay. All right. Okay, so okay, let's talk about the current wedding trends.
There are lots of wedding trends.
Okay, so
going around.
okay, just mention like a couple, like 1, 2, or 3.
I will talk about one that is really something that I like, and it's something I think is great. Is one of the trends right now is wedding content creator.
Okay.
A lot of the times, there's some BTS or behind the scenes footages that you usually won't get. You know how that your friends are in the event and they're recording and they're not really a part of it. I think for me, the work of a wedding content creator is to just capture all the moments raw as they are, and then just give the clients or the couples something to post immediately after, because professional footage is it's going to take a while.
Okay.
Right? It's going to take a minute. But then just know that you don't have to be on your phone all the time. You can be present, and someone has like a nice picture of you. Someone has a nice cute moment with you and your husband. It's something that's
Maybe
exciting.
somebody's helping you go live. Like if you wanted to go live.
If people want to go live, someone's helping you go live. But
Okay.
apart from even just going live, that's for people who even want to be in the public sphere,
Okay.
right? Some people just want a nice, cute photo of them. Or, a moment where like the couple have like an intimate, nice conversation, and the photographer is not there to grab it. You have it on tape, like you have it on like on your social media. You can put it on your Instagram if that's what you do, or you can just have a library of photos of your bridesmaids, because some of the times people will be like, oh my god, that day went by, I forgot to even take a photo.
Yeah.
You know how you can look through your iPhone and you like see pictures of yourself. iPhone will create like a memory for you.
Yeah.
It's really nice to have.
So aside content creators, any other thing? Like any other
Any other wedding trend that I like? Another wedding trend I really, really like is how brides are incorporating like their after party dress. A lot of people, yes, a lot of people don't really, put so much style and, but now people are really going all out to have like 2 outfits and really like
3 outfits.
3 outfits. It's a lot.
I think
to manage.
a lot of stress.
It's a lot of stress to manage, but it is a trend.
Okay.
It's a lot of stress to manage, but it is a trend.
Okay, so this is one question. I'm sure you're going to laugh when I ask this. How do you
Okay.
manage gatecrashers? So if you have like an event,
Lord have mercy.
so if you have like an event that is, say,
Strictly on
Yes,
invitation.
strictly on invitation. So how do you manage that? Because I know in Nigeria,
First of all, it's a culture here.
yes, we love to gate crash. Nigerians love to gate crash a wedding.
It's a culture here that, honestly, if somebody should just see a party is happening at the back, they will dress up.
You know, I saw something.
And come.
Sorry to continue. I saw something and somebody said, you said I shouldn't go for weddings that they invited me. What did you say? They killed 4 cows and 5 goats. You said I should not go. like I just laughed.
Weddings that they did not invite you. You just heard that they killed cow and goats and you're going.
Yeah.
One of the strong things that I do to manage gatecrashers is, first of all, security and location. Whenever you're considering a wedding venue, right? I consider the security of the venue itself without, the vendors that are coming in, and like the security of the venue itself without the external security.
Okay.
Because there are 2 types. Like, is this venue fenced round? Is this venue, how are the doors? Is it, how many people can sit in here? What's the capacity of the venue itself? And then I consider, okay, how much security do we need, right, for this venue? And that can protect and just curb as much people as are invited as possible. Yeah. And then what is the system of the guest system? Are they going to use like access cards to get in here? Is it by uniform? What's the means of identification for the security, for people who are actually invited for the event? And again, we do a lot of team meetings and, planning, post-planning, for the event. So we talk about people get crashing. And the plan is to, unless it's very, very, very strict, right? The plan is to reduce them as possible, to make it as tight as possible. The last event I did was a gala, and it was very, 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 very important that we maintain the guest number. The guest number was 100. My team and I, we created a guest list, a mobile guest list. It was very easy. We shared it. We developed a template, which if you come onto my page, I could show you like how to set up that template. We create up like a template, and then we shared it to all the security. So everybody had the guest list. It made it super easy. So you come, you mention your name, you go through, you don't mention your name, you're outside. It's just as it is. We have enough security at the door, and everyone who was on the guest list had access through. If you didn't have your name on the guest list, my apologies.
So, let's talk about your most, let's say your best event so far. Less stressful. When I say best event, I'm like, less stressful, the pay is good, you were happy, you did it.
I would have.
The clients were happy as well.
My best event so far. So as a planner this year, one of the things that I was looking to do was stepping out of my comfort zone, and having planned just weddings for the most part. Weddings is my comfort zone. One of the things I did this year was stepping out to plan a gala. And planning a gala was less emotional than weddings are. Weddings are very emotional. And God blessed me that this gala was for a foundation. It was a non-profit foundation gala that I did. And first of all, what made me happy about that was just the cause and the purpose of the foundation. Being able to be a part of that and give back to society actually made me feel fulfilled as a planner. And then the pay was also... was good.
Was it a government thing?
No, it wasn't a government thing. It was a private, it was a non-profit foundation, but it was owned by like a private person. But then what the purpose of it was something profound that I aligned with my purpose as a planner. And I felt very satisfied working on that. And then
I'm sure the money was good.
Yeah, it was good money.
And you were happy.
Yeah, I was happy.
And they did not delay your payment.
No, they didn't delay my payments at all. But you see, for the most part, what made that, apart from the purpose of the foundation and just being a part of that big, purpose that I thought was very profound. The other thing was just the fact that it was not as emotional as weddings. Yeah. Everybody just knew what they were supposed to do. Everybody was like on time. The post-planning was sweet and cute. I was just like, yeah, I might be doing more galas. If you have a gala that's not please call me.
Okay, so final question. What's your advice What's your advice for planners?
My advice for planners out there is take it one day at a time, actually. And you're only as exposed as the weddings and the events that you're doing. Do some research. Like, not all the time. For me, it's not every time that you have weddings to plan. And if you're not having a job coming in, that's the time for you to research, for you to get better as a planner, for you to learn more. So just take it one day at a time. Every wedding, every event is an opportunity to learn something. One of the most difficult things for me as a startup planner was feedback. I used to be very scared to ask my clients, how did you feel about it? What is your review?
Why?
Yeah, because like, I don't know, you don't necessarily want someone to say something
Bad, okay,
bad about
yeah.
you. So you are just scared. I was literally scared. But like, after like a year or two, that is my favorite part. I can't wait to ask them, how'd you feel?
Okay,
Right.
so what's your favorite feedback?
My favorite feedback. This is actually very funny.
Was it from the gala?
Yeah, from the
Because it looks
gala
like
as
the
well.
gala is your favorite. Like I can tell.
No, honestly, I was actually scared just coming out of my comfort zone and planning the gala. But
Okay.
having done that and done it successfully, I probably would say that if you can plan a wedding, you probably can plan any other event, any other event. But like, yeah, the gala was fantastic. And that was not even where I got the most feedback. Some of the feedbacks that I got that were great were from my brides, were from
Okay.
my grooms. One of the brides called me a visionary, and she liked the fact that, I'm always, open to learning, open to criticism. As long as somebody says, oh, I don't like the way this is working, I think that this is what I'm like, oh yeah, how can I fix it? How can I make it better? And a lot of the times my couples talk about how I make them feel priority. I put them, first. I like hearing that. And then there are also other comments that would just make me go back to my drawing board and just be better. So it's my favorite part. I like to know, and
Okay.
I brace myself for it because, people are going to have different opinions all the time.
No, actually, it's actually a very good thing. Like it's a good would I say mentality to have, because when it comes to events and dealing with people, you need to be open to criticism and not take it too
personally.
Yeah,
Too
not take it
personally.
because now you know that it's their day, like you said earlier.
No, it's
their
about
day,
them.
so it has to be the way they want it, and it has to make them feel good.
Absolutely,
So-
absolutely. They're the stars of the show. I tell people all the time that weddings are like movies, right? The bride and the groom are the main actors. The families are like supporting acts. Every other person, vendor, is like crew member.
Yeah.
I am the director of the show. And then like the thing about it is we cannot cut on the day of and take again. It's a
Yeah.
one-time shot. So we have to make this movie
You have
count.
to be on your A
We have
game.
to make this movie a blockbuster. We have to make it a blockbuster. It actually also allows for my clients to be present. What my agency is about helping people plan
Okay.
so that they can helping my couples celebrate love with ease. It's very important that there is as I don't promise people a stress-free wedding. I tell my couples it's almost impossible to have a stress-free wedding because the decision-making process, having to deal with your family and all of that will still stress you. But if you hire a planner, you know that at least up to 70 to 75% or 80% of the stress has been cut off.
Taken off.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's just like some of the loads have been taken off of you. And then a lot of the times when people don't hire a planner, they are not present in the wedding. Like
Yeah,
the
because
party
they're
is
worried
happening.
about what
The
could
party is
go
happening and they are worrying. And so they are
Yeah,
not there.
looking
And then
around.
you know what? After the event, they are like, "She's oh my god, the event happened. I didn't even know this yet." Like,
Yeah.
so what I am here to do is, just make people present at their wedding and make it as stress-free as possible. I like to use the word ease, make it as easier as possible. And being that my agency is called Ujai Events, Ujai is an Anang, is the Anang version of the word Uyai.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
so I'm very particular about showcasing the culture of Akwa Ibom through weddings.
Okay.
That's why I'm an Akwa Ibom-based wedding planner. And then by that, I mean, in terms of traditional weddings and even sometimes infuse it into white weddings, I showcase the beauty of the Akwa Ibom people. I showcase the color, the culture in terms of food, the traditional rites. If you want to learn about a culture of a people, the best place or one of the easiest places you could go to learn about their culture is through weddings. And
Okay.
how they they start their nuclear family. So yeah, that's something I do with Ujah events.
All right, so
it helps me put Accra Ibom on the map.
Okay, so where can we find you?
You can definitely find me on Instagram.
Okay.
You can find us on our own YouTube channel. But then just type in Ujah Events. We're everywhere. We will come out. UJAIEVENTS.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. This was nice. This was nice.
This was fun. This was interesting.
This is actually really
and I actually did learn a lot, you know.
Of course. Of course you learn a lot. It's me.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you on our next episode. Bye.
Cheers.